Was McLaren's dominance ever real? Or has Max Verstappen just blown the title wide open? For months, Formula One fans believed the 2025 World Championship was locked. McLaren's domination seemed untouchable. Their young stars, Lando, Norris and Oscar Piastri, battling only each other. Max Verstappen? He was written off? The era of McLaren had arrived. But suddenly, everything has changed. 2 races, 2 wins, and now McLaren isn't just glancing over their shoulder, they're terrified. Because the question no one dared ask at the start of the season is back. Can Max Verstappen steal the title after all? Verstappen's surge. For most of 2025, McLaren controlled the grid. Their car was fast everywhere, their drivers consistently on the podium. Verstappen, by contrast, was stranded with a Red Bull machine that looked more stubborn than lethal. But then came Monza, then Baku. 2 very different tracks, and 2 very dominant Verstappen wins. Not scrappy victories, not lucky breaks. Total domination. And here's the part that's making McLaren sweat. This wasn't just Max doing Max things. It was Red Bull's car, the RB21. Suddenly finding life no one thought possible. McLaren insiders even admitted after Baku, "We're worried." Verstappen is back in the fight. So, how did Red Bull pull this off? And if McLaren thought this was just Max Verstappen pulling off magic behind the wheel, they're dead wrong. Because the real story, it's hidden beneath the car, in a breakthrough no one saw coming. At Monza, Red Bull introduced a brand new flaw. For months, their problem was clear. The RB21 just couldn't run low enough to unlock the underbody downforce these ground effect cars rely on. Too high and you lose grip. Too low and the plank wears down, breaking regulations. Red Bull was stuck in limbo. But the new flaw? It changed everything. Suddenly, Verstappen's car could ride lower, generate huge downforce and still stay within legal limits. On the radio, Max himself kept talking about grounding, the underbody scraping the track. That was music to Red Bull's engineers. It meant the car was finally alive in a way it hadn't been all season. McLaren boss Andrea Stella even admitted Verstappen's speed through Monza's medium corners was shocking. A weakness had just become a weapon. Red Bull's secret weapon. Of course, Red Bull isn't giving away its secrets. Team principal Laurent Mekies insists there's no magic bullet. Instead, he credits relentless work. Setup tweaks, factory simulations, small gains that add up. But here's what we know. Red Bull's been running significantly more front wing than rivals. Verstappen now attacks corners with precision, using the front end to rotate instead of sliding the rear. And crucially, in low downforce trim, the car is thriving. That's why in Baku, Verstappen wasn't just fast, he was unstoppable. 6th pole of the year, 4th victory, and suddenly the title picture looks very different. Even Lando Norris admitted, people need to stop being surprised. Red Bull is on another level in low downforce setups. But here's the real kicker. Low downforce tracks aren't the whole calendar. Singapore, Suzuka, Austin, Brazil, all bring different challenges. So the big question remains, is this a 2-race fluke? Or has Red Bull cracked the code for good? The McLaren meltdown in Baku. Now, let's not forget, Verstappen's surge coincided with McLaren's worst weekend of the season. Both Norris and Piastri were sloppy. They clipped walls in practice, made mistakes in qualifying. Piastri even crashed out of Q3, then jumped the start in the race, ending his Grand Prix before it began. Norris? Stuck in traffic, undone by yet another slow pit stop. The McLaren wasn't handling the wind, wasn't responding to tyre changes, and most damning of all, it looked fragile. Norris described it as a car that can still bite you. Translation? Unpredictable. And while Red Bull was cool and composed, McLaren was messy. But was this just a bad weekend? Or is it the beginning of a bigger unravelling? And that's where the real fear kicks in. Because if Baku wasn't just a one-off collapse, then McLaren might be staring down the same nightmare Mercedes once lived through. a relentless Verstappen comeback. The numbers game. Here's the math. Oscar Piastri still leads the championship. Lando Norris is 25 points behind him. Verstappen? He's 69 points adrift. Sounds like a mountain, right? But here's the scary part. There are 7 races left, plus 3 sprint races. That's 199 points still up for grabs. If Verstappen wins them all, and McLaren stumble, the unthinkable becomes possible. Verstappen could rip the title from McLaren's hands. Remember, just last year, Norris was further behind Max at this stage, and people still called it a title fight. This time, Max is the hunter, not the hunted. And McLaren knows it. The Norris-Piastri problem. Here's where it gets even worse for McLaren. Their drivers are so evenly matched that they're taking points off each other. Norris beats Piastri one weekend. Piastri beats Norris the next. Great for the Constructors' Championship. Sure, but terrible for defending against Verstappen. Andrea Stella has even admitted McLaren might have to back one driver if the Verstappen threat grows. But who? Do you risk fracturing the harmony of the team to stop Max? That's the dilemma McLaren hoped they'd never face. And it's exactly what Verstappen thrives on. Chaos in the opposition camp. The Singapore test. Circle it on your calendars. Singapore. It's hot, it's brutal, it's loaded with slow corners. Historically, it's a nightmare for Red Bull. Last year, Norris dominated from pole. If Verstappen wins in Singapore, McLaren's alarm bells won't just be ringing, they'll be screaming. Because that would prove Red Bull's gains aren't track-specific. It would prove Verstappen has a car that works everywhere. And if that's true, the title fight is officially back on. So, should McLaren be worried? The short answer, yes. McLaren still has the faster, more complete package on most tracks. They still have 2 incredible drivers, but Formula One isn't about who has the best car, it's about who has momentum. And right now, all of it belongs to Max Verstappen. The Dutchman has been here before. He knows how to claw back deficits. He knows how to crush rivals under pressure. And if Piastri and Norris keep making mistakes, Verstappen won't just catch them, he'll beat them. So, I'll leave you with this question. Has McLaren's dominance already peaked? And is Verstappen about to write the comeback story of the century? Let me know what you think in the comments below. And don't forget, hit that like button, subscribe for more F1 deep dives, and join us as we follow this championship fight to the very end.